Welcome to Garden Wise Adventures. My name is Millie and we're at yet another absolutely gorgeous property to feature on my series, which is called What Do Water-Wise Landscapes Look Like in Utah? Now, it's Chels, right?
Yeah, Chels or Chelsea.
Yeah. Her property is so beautiful that it's actually been featured in high country gardens and localscapes and all over the place because it's so beautiful. Now, tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into this.
I didn't garden before we moved in here, actually.
Really? So how many years has it been?
6.
6 years.
So we had a blank slate. The builder put grass all in our front, which we didn't really want because across the street we have a nice big 8-acre park. We don't want to mow. We'll let the city do that for us. So we took that out. We had enough grass for our backyard and our neighbor's backyard, actually.
Oh, wow.
So
you repurposed it?
Yes.
That's great. I love that.
Our yard is a trapezoid. Like, it's very small in the back and then it angles out. So we have a lot of front yard. I grew up with a xeriscape. My dad has a xeriscape. My husband's mom has a xeriscape. They don't look like this. They're a little different.
But it came natural then. This is what it needed to look like to you.
It did. So, and everyone always says you need grass for kids. I have 3 little boys. We have grass in the back, but we don't need a ton of grass for them.
Especially in the front, especially with little kids.
They ride their bikes. That's what they do in the front yard.
You came up with some gorgeous ideas, especially for park strips. Can we look at your park strip really quick and talk about that?
Yeah. So this is the off bloom going into July.
Okay, say that again. This is the off bloom?
The off bloom going into July. My salvias are mostly been deadheaded. My catmint is on its way to a deadhead. Like probably in the next few days I'll be doing that.
So if this is the off bloom, do you ever have a time where there's no blooms?
Yeah, December and January.
But I'll bet that still is gorgeous because as you know, we're going to talk about in a little bit, you have lavenders. They're evergreen, and I'll bet you have other things in there that add interest too.
The Mojave sage.
Let's come over here and look.
Okay. Yeah, the Mojave sage is generally evergreen.
Yeah, let's look at the Mojave sage really quick, and then let's talk some more about the plants, other plants that are in here. So here's your Mojave sage.
Yeah, and it's just starting to bloom. So, and this is a favorite of hummingbirds. It's very much, when it's in bloom, it's very much busy that way.
Look at all the bees.
So,
yeah, you have a lot of pollinator attractors. You know, it looks like you have some plants that are bird attractants.
yes.
So this is definitely wildlife friendly.
I would say so. We get a lot of wildlife, so yeah.
Now let's look at your little lavenders, because you have some lavenders that I love.
So coming this way, so these are all in the Elegance series, and these have reseeded. So there's a pink one, and then there's the purple down here, and there's a white cultivar over. We probably walked past it.
Yeah. So lavenders, when you shear the flowers back, they do stay evergreen for the winter, right?
For the most part. Sometimes they look a little sad. So I found the platinum blonde cultivar that's over in my front yard looks best.
Let's go look at that one.
Okay.
So you don't have to be stuck with just purple for lavender.
No, you can see the white coming up this way, just right on the other side.
Oh, look how gorgeous that is. And then you pair that with the penstemon.
And the catmint.
The catmint. You've got sedums.
And it times well because the lavender comes out about the time the catmint needs a good haircut.
Yeah. And what is this guy right here?
So that is Persian stonecress. One of the first things to bloom in the spring, very fragrant, light pink. It's really pretty. It looks like this, and then it kind of shrivels down. It does stay evergreen, but it's not like huge.
Right. But the seed heads are gorgeous too.
Yes.
Look at that. Do you shear the seed heads back at all, or when do you do that?
I sometimes do, sometimes don't. It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
So I could do it now. It'd be fine. Or I can let it seed. As you can see, I've kind of starting to let it spread.
So quick question here. I think this is a perfect segue into how much time do you spend maintaining all of this?
It depends on how much I want to spend.
Yeah.
So this year was weird because everything came out late and early. So it's all coming out together. So I spent probably an hour last week out here deadheading, but the hours between this, that, and my roses So
So this is not an extremely high maintenance area.
no.
What about watering? How often do you water this?
4 to 5 times a year, except my trees. Those get watered about every week.
Okay, actually, let's talk about that before I pan through. So your trees, what is the thinking behind watering them?
They're bigger.
Yeah.
So they're more exposed to the elements, the wind, the sun. So they're gonna need more water. The park strip is 4 to 5 times a year, depending on how wet it is.
Okay.
The trees are once a week if it's hot or it's been dry, or if the leaves are starting to look a little curly.
So you do kind of watch and water, you don't put it on a set schedule and then forget it and leave it.
My xeriscape's not on a set schedule at all.
Same here. Yeah, I love that idea. I think people need to think about that because especially with these kind of plants, if you have enough rain, you don't need to water, but then you have to make sure you know how much rain. Just because it's sprinkled doesn't mean you can turn off the irrigation. You've got to watch them.
Yeah, I had to water last week. We got rain, but it didn't really get down.
Yeah.
Like when I was digging in a plant. I was planting something.
Yeah.
And it was dry about 8 inches down. I was like, it's probably time to water.
See, that's a good method. I sometimes use a screwdriver because you can push a screwdriver in through moist soil, but you can't through really dry soil.
Yeah.
And you don't want, even though they're xeric plants, you don't want their deep roots to completely dry out.
No.
But you don't want to overwater them either.
No, you don't.
So you just got to check, my gauge is about 3 or 4 inches down. Once it's dry down that far, then I will put a good deep soaking on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. So what suggestions do you have? What has worked and what hasn't worked here?
One suggestion I'd have is this would be a great place for a pathway.
Okay, so I notice you don't have pathways. Okay.
Nope, I didn't do that. And we had a logic behind that because we have this big park. So we wanted to discourage people from parking in front of our house.
Aha.
Which, I mean, I don't care if people do, but we didn't want it to be all the time.
Right.
So a pathway here would have been nice, and I guess I could still put one. It wouldn't be too hard, but
Yeah.
it's
Just some flat stones or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's a thought, maybe in a future.
What is your thought on weed mat, especially since most of your mulch is stone?
I say don't do it. I mean, you can see where stuff is reseeding, but by the end of July, most of that will be gone because there's no water to it because of the point source strip.
Do you have weed mat down?
I do, because that park was a big field of weeds, and my husband was like, we're putting weed mat down. And it's been the worst regret of my landscaping decision. So
Yeah, so you do, so here is proof right here. Weeds and reseeding do happen even if you have a weed mat.
yeah.
And then how easy is it to get that out of there?
And I have to pull my rocks back, and I have to cut it out with a knife every spring.
Oh my word.
So it's at some point I probably won't have weed mat in here anymore
Because you're cutting
I'll
it
cut
out
it
so
out.
much. Yeah.
But, yeah.
Perfect. Let's go look at some of your trees. Because you have amazing, you've chosen some amazing trees. Okay, so yeah, this is a fun, now give me the name of this one again.
It's a pink cotton lamb's ear.
Yeah, this is totally different. And tell them where you found it. We've got little kids here, so we're not going to show her face. So
Smith's at 90th South in Redwood.
I love that.
So I've actually gotten quite a few of my more fun plants at the Smith's nurseries on 33rd and 33rd.
So do exploring and don't be afraid to go into nurseries you wouldn't think about. What is this gorgeous guy?
That is Seafoam Artemisia.
Oh my heavens. And where did you get this one?
That was also up at the Smith's nursery, but I found some at Thrive on Saturday.
Okay, I need to head to Thrive and that Smith's nursery.
And it was only $3 on clearance.
Oh, I love it.
So.
Okay, so now you have some amazing trees over here too. Let's talk a little bit about those.
Okay.
Okay, so you have some gorgeous choice of trees here. What is this beautiful evergreen right here?
It's a false cypress.
Look how gorgeous that is. And then this tall, beautiful, narrow one.
That is a Green Mountain silver linden.
Yeah. And what was your reasoning behind choosing this one?
I love the look of it with the bicolor leaves.
Yeah.
I love silver lindens. And it's drought tolerant.
Uh-huh.
And this is a western exposure. And it doesn't get as big as the one that's more common. I can't remember the name of that cultivar actually.
Yeah, it's just I've just heard it as the silver linden.
Yeah. But there's one that you can find a lot more easily, and I can't remember the name of it. But this tree was actually sideways in its pot when we bought it for $10.
Oh my word! $10.
10 bucks, and it tilted just like this. Like literally 45-degree angle to the
Maybe
side.
I can get your face with that little boy. Yeah, there we go.
We planted it sideways.
I love it.
So it worked.
Okay, so there's another one over here. You have a very special one over here. Let's go look at that one.
Flamethrower.
Yes.
That's a new addition this spring. So I went to IFA to get fertilizer and it climbed into my car.
Isn't it funny how often that happens?
Right?
I've had that happen in the past.
So it's looking a little sad after that crazy windstorm we had.
Yeah, but this is a new one. Look how gorgeous that is. Flamethrower redbud. That climbs into carts. Be careful of them.
Yes.
They tend to do that.
Yes, they just jump right in.
And then, yeah, everything is just gorgeous. Now you have your butterfly weed.
Yeah.
You have a beautiful butterfly weed here. Tell me a little bit more about what kind of pollinators your plants attract.
All of them.
Yeah.
So everyone was complaining the honeybees weren't here in the spring. My yard was buzzing with the native bees.
So they were at your yard?
Yeah.
Oh, no, it wasn't the honeybees, it was the native bees.
the native bees. I had a bunch of the little ones. Later in the day, you'll notice we get about 30 bumblebees in our park strip. We think we have a nest somewhere nearby.
Oh, that is perfect.
So,
yeah, I love the native bees and the bumblebees. They're actually more important than the honeybees. So you don't just do flowers and pollinators and this is still part of the xeriscape, but you also do food.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about this area.
Originally, this was going to be a fire pit with the garden around it.
And this is your front yard?
Yes.
Yeah.
But then we decided we didn't really like that with the park.
Yeah.
Because this is a busy street with lots of kids. Like, not traffic, but just kids.
Yeah.
And so we decided to turn it into the garden that we have. We had smaller beds and then decided that bigger was a little bit better for the roots.
So you're saying that it grows better with the deeper beds. How deep are these?
They're about 2 feet.
Okay, yeah.
And everyone asks if it's too hot for them, and my tomatoes and peppers love it.
Yeah, look at that. Look at the growth in there.
Because I have these cattle panels that we can put plastic on and season extend.
Oh, I love that.
So we can start a little earlier and go a little later.
Yeah.
So
you get a ton of production here.
Yes.
And all your garlic scapes for your garlic.
And I let my kids plant my stuff, so it's always a little wild in my beds.
But I think that's the most important thing you can do. When you have kids, they need to know where their food comes from and that they can do it.
Yes. And they like to come pick stuff. So.
And have you noticed that they want to eat it more?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Oh, yes.
Because this is theirs. They take ownership.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a flower and carrot.
Yep. I didn't get them all out last year.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, look how much fun.
And we found last year we didn't get squash bugs until we had pulled out the onions.
Oh, so the onions were kind of acting as a little bit of a deterrent.
I don't know if it's correlation or causation, but we're trying it again.
Yes. Then you got your strawberry bed.
Yeah, this one, I think we got a disease in this one because it's not been doing as good. I had to go through and pull a bunch out.
Yeah, I've noticed strawberries don't seem to do as well in beds for over a number. They do really well for the first couple of years, and then they start to die back.
So I was planning on replacing them next year anyway, so it's fine that way.
Now, what about your fruit trees here? You had a really definite purpose for them besides food.
Yes, I'm keeping them small because I don't like ladders.
Yes.
But they also help to provide a little bit of shade because this is very hot again with our western exposure.
So double duty.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that.
So, and it's working out okay.
And then you have your grapevines here.
Yep. Got 2 there and 2 in the back.
More butterfly weed. Yeah. Another one over here. This is just absolutely gorgeous. Okay, let's look at your backyard, because your backyard is totally different than your front, but just as beautiful.
I don't know, an oasis back here a little bit to
You created an oasis.
Hang out. Like it's a smaller backyard.
Right.
So we just tried to make it as welcoming as we could.
So how often do you water back here?
The grass is every 3 to 4 days.
So not every day?
No, and if you notice, we keep it longer, which helps.
Yeah.
Like, I've told my husband we could have a green yard, or we could have green grass or a short grass. We couldn't have both.
How often do you water the flower beds?
About every 4 days or so.
Yeah, so that's another one that doesn't need every day. But look what you've created with a drought-tolerant backyard.
Yeah.
It's like an English country garden.
It is.
Yeah.
Like we have black blackberries, and we have honeyberries.
This guy over here. Shh. He's okay.
And I obviously love my roses. So
Roses. And then look at this guy right here. Look at these leaves. Look at the variegation. What is this one?
an Esk Sunset Sycamore Maple.
Oh my word.
So, and they're supposed to be pretty slow growing. Eventually they do get big, but they are.
Everything about it is beautiful. The mahogany kind of ish color on the back and the variegation on the front and the shape of it.
My favorite time is like sunrise, sunset to see
I'll
it.
bet it glows.
It does. It's really pretty.
And then on the east side of your house, you have your Japanese maple and your black lace elderberry. So what I'm noticing is that you've kind of planted according to this, the area, the situation that you have. So you can put more water hungry plants up against your east side because the water's going to evaporate slower.
Yeah. And that's in shade by 1 or 2 o'clock. So it's not getting the hot.
Yeah, I love it. So you can get some of the plants that you want that you may not be able to do in a more drought stricken area. But look at this, and your blackberries and your espalier, or is that, let's see.
That's a grape again.
Oh, another grape, okay, yeah.
And I need another one to replace the one there that wasn't the tagged cultivar.
And you've got a pear. What have you learned, what would you like people to know about it?
Things do get big. So when you plant accordingly, like plan for it.
So read the tag and believe it most of the time?
Plan on it getting bigger some of the time, because that happens too.
Yes.
I have a drift rose in my front yard that's supposed to be 3 feet max, and it's easily 5 feet right now.
Because you put it in its happy spot.
It gets watered with my Xeriscape.
But that must be its happy spot for some reason.
Apparently. So
yeah, I love it.
It's happy.
So there are some roses that are really drought tolerant.
Yeah, the knockout roses, the drift roses I found have been extremely drought tolerant.
That is good to know. And then look at your structure here. What is the purpose of this?
Again, with our fishbowl, like we would sit on our back patio and wave at our neighbors doing dishes. And we like our neighbors, we really do.
Yes.
But we also like a little bit of our own space too.
Yes.
So, and I do have trees that will eventually fill in, but I selected some we have a ton of wind here. Like obviously not today, but this is in the wind tunnel.
Right.
So they're a little, that one's not a slow grower, but like this one right here will take forever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this one looks like one of the horse chestnuts.
It is. It's an autumn splendor.
Oh, their flowers are so beautiful.
They are. So.
Yeah, and you have another tree over here
That's
we're walking through that I wanted to see. This is
the desert willow?
Yeah, the desert willow. But you've got a pear here. You've got a maple.
Yeah, that's an urban sunset, but it's been kind of sad a little bit.
Yeah.
Since I planted it. It was really root bound, so I really messed up with it, and it's been slow to recover.
But it looks healthy, so it looks like it'll recover.
So I'm hoping.
Yeah. So let's look at this tree over here. This is another one I wish people would plant more.
I think it's an excellent choice.
Look at this. So what is this one?
That's a Lucretia Hamilton desert willow.
And look at the flowers on that. The color is gorgeous, the shape is gorgeous, the leaves are gorgeous.
And it's planted specifically so we can sit on our couch and watch the hummingbirds come up to it.
Oh, and the hummingbirds love it.
So.
There's not much more you can ask for in a tree, and it's drought tolerant.
It's drought tolerant, and it doesn't make a mess because it doesn't really drop seeds. It focuses on flowering.
So you have to be very careful about your cultivars.
Yes, there are some that will drop like the bean pods, kind of like the red buds. I'm trying a chase tree. We'll see how it goes.
Where's your chase tree?
I've got one back here.
Oh, chase tree. Yes.
So, and I've got one in the front too.
Which cultivar?
They're first editions. This one I think is the blue one, and the one in the front is the pink one.
Oh, I love it.
So I just wanted to try them.
Yes, there is one thing that I found about them. If they die back, if it looks like they died all the way back in the winter, just cut them to the base and leave it. Don't dig them out.
That's what that did. It died all the way back.
Yeah, because they will come back, even though it looks completely dead.
Well, it's like this tree. It doesn't wake up till like mid-June.
Oh, so you've got to be really careful and not dig them out too soon.
And then it comes out and flowers in like 2 or 3 weeks. So
I love the shape of it too.
You can see the tip die back, and that's pretty normal for cold winters. And we got down to the -1 or 2.
Yeah, so it can tolerate then the colder winters.
Yes, they say when you first plant it to cover it with mulch the first winter, the root
Okay, that's
area,
good to know.
just to kind of protect it a little bit so it doesn't die all the way down to the root. and it's normal for it to die back the first year or two all the way down to the root, kind of like the chase tree.
Yeah. Look how cute this guy is.
So find the least hospitable, hottest part in your yard and plant that.
Perfect, because I'm sure everybody has those areas that they
Yep.
need the trees for. Oh, that's so gorgeous. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing your yard. This has been so much fun. Now, I did hear that Cynthia B has convinced you to do something with this.
She convinced me to go into landscape design.
Yes,
So-
you are a landscape designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
I kind of try to niche myself into park strips and small beds, though, just kind of smaller scale design.
Okay, so park
for
strips and small beds, not the entire.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I can do it, but I feel like I'm best
Yeah.
at the smaller stuff right now. So.
Yeah, and maybe prefer to do the smaller.
Yeah, I do.
But I will link her information down below if you want to contact her, if that's okay.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah. Well, I love this. Well, thank you again so much. And I hope you guys have enjoyed this and learned as much as I have. And I hope you go have a wonderful garden adventure.
Thanks for coming out.
Yeah, thanks.